I would like to see a situation where Mr. Modi is thrown out for sure. They keep saying Hindu khatre mein hai. Hindu khatre mein nahi hai, Hindustan khatre mein. From Jawaharlal Nehru to Indira Gandhi to Rajiv to Sonia to Rahul to Priyanka to Robert Vadra to whoever. This family coming to any part of India and talking about somebody else being a dynasty, that has to be the joke of the century, right? Or the millennium, actually. We are going to make sure he loses again in Kodangal. Last time we beat him there in Kodangal. This time we'll make sure he loses in Kodangal and Kamareddy. We'll make sure that he does not come back to legislature like we did last time. Bandi Sanjay is a huge asset.
Exactly. That's
was a huge asset for us, not for their party.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, had he been there, it would have been more fun. Elections would be more fun. He basically makes such nonsensical statements that it generally ends up offering a lot of entertainment once in a while. I mean, we need the entertainment respite once in a while,
The union government's report also saying that maybe there is a problem with the design.
Yeah, the problem is with the union government, not with the project, because the union government, unfortunately, is so obsessed with basically showing us in poor light. They'll use every agency. They call it NDSA report. I call it NDA report. I think one of the things that we could have done better is handling the whole Public Service Commission related affairs.
This is a joint election coverage by the Newsminute and News Laundry. Contribute to our election fund and power our journalism.
Hello and welcome to the News Minute. We are in Telangana covering the elections here, and joining us today at a very special place, the Nilofer Cafe in Hyderabad, is ktramarao. Busy campaigning, but this video came out of you falling from that truck. So, how bad was it?
No, firstly, good to see you, Dhanya. You've been covering us and you've been talking to us for the last 12, 13, 14 years now, before Telangana and now after Telangana. You should keep coming back more often. And I'm, of course, doing well. Thank you. It was a freak accident. It was one of those things that happens in the campaign. Sustained a few minor injuries on my leg, and now this morning, actually, my thumb started paining a bit, so I have to go get checked up.
But everybody was shocked seeing the visual. I saw your sister tweeting saying that she immediately called up and...
Yeah, in fact, what happened is, I probably was the luckier one among the three of us. Our Rajya Sabha MP, Suresh Reddy Garu, actually fell off onto the road, which was bad actually, and he was hurt a bit, unfortunately, but I think he's doing okay now. But otherwise, these things happen.
So now on to politics. One thing
Moving on swiftly, huh?
Yeah, very swiftly.
By the way, this is Hyderabad's world famous Bun Maska.
Yes.
From Cafe Nilofer.
Bun Maska and the Nilofer
And of course, chai,
yes.
of course.
Okay. So,
the branding's here.
One thing which is very peculiar about the BRS is that you don't have a political consultancy.
Why is that peculiar?
In the sense, all parties now have political consultancies. Wherever we go, mostly things are managed by the political consultancies. Why did you not have a political consultancy in this election?
Because we have a master strategist in the form of our chief minister, who's basically been in the field for 45 years. I think he has a better understanding of the pulse of the people than most politicians or their strategists, so to speak.
But today, everybody uses them not just for strategy. It's for a lot of things, right? It's for convenience, it's for planning. So I'm a bit surprised that you don't have one.
We had one for a while. But what happens is, when someone starts behaving or actually believing that they should run the party and they should basically tell you what to do on a day-to-day basis, that's not how things should work. I mean, they're there to complement, augment, and possibly help us understand a few of our blind spots. But to believe that I'm going to run the party or the government is not right.
Okay, interesting. To run the party and the government, which is very interesting. Okay, so you have been in power for 10 years now. I saw that in many interviews.
9.5.
Yes, you speak about the anti-incumbency, which you do agree that
No, I do not speak about it. I get asked. The thing is, I would like to believe that in a democracy, end of the day, when people vote, especially in a democracy, parliamentary democracy like India, what we have to realize is that, in the first past the post kind of system, what matters is what the majority thinks, not 100% of vote is your target, right? So, for example, if you look at Prime Minister Modi and his party, in 2018, He had won possibly one of the biggest mandates, 303 seats. But how much percentage of votes did he get in the country? 37. Now, 63% of India did not vote for Prime Minister Modi. Fact is, yet he had a landslide. So likewise, all these things about anti-incumbency and this and that, disgruntlement, I believe they are a bit overhyped, because what happens is, in a democracy, the majority is silent, who's basically enjoyed the fruits of good governance, because typically if they don't have much to complain, they're not going to be vocal. The minority, which is, in terms of minority voters numbers, who are probably vocal, is primarily because they do not like something. So we undermine, even a lot of psephologists, a lot of media undermine and undervalue the silent majority, who basically remain silent and muted till the time they actually have to cast a vote. So I would like to believe that good governance, progress will be recognized, respected, and will be endorsed.
But if you were to agree that there is some anti-incumbency against your government, despite all the good governance, where do you think that would be? Which areas would people be bit dissatisfied?
I think I'll leave it for you guys to figure it out, because I don't think I should be going out saying what are the things we haven't probably done right, etc.
But is that a problem? There's no
Yes, of course there is.
self-reflection.
No, there is, of course. Why would I say? See, I'd be fooling myself if I said no. See, even God cannot satisfy everybody, isn't it? For example, I filed my nomination day before yesterday, and so did my opponents, about I think 42 of them. We all pray to the same God, and now God can only satisfy one of us. One of us only can get elected. So the remaining 42 would be dissatisfied. It's like that. So the thing is, in governance as well, you can't satisfy everybody in one go at one time. So what you have to realize is, it's all about course corrections, making sure that things that don't seem to be going right are somehow, after receiving the feedback, corrected. So for instance, since you are keen on understanding, I think one of the things that we could have done better is handling the whole Public Service Commission related affairs, where even though we have done better than our predecessors, even though we have done better than any of our competition anywhere in the country, just to give you a sense of what I'm saying, we have completed recruitment of 1,60,083 posts in the last 9.5 years, and 70,000 more are underway. Probably we could have handled the PR better. Probably we could have done more engagement. Probably we could have handled some paper leakage issues better, because these things do happen. In Gujarat, the paper was leaked 13 times. The thing is, it's all about how to probably do the course correction, how to make sure that you come out with confidence building measures, which probably we could have done better in hindsight.
But wasn't it a big risk, again on anti-incumbency, to repeat so many MLAs? I know that you are saying the loyalty thing, that we are also loyal to our leaders, but is that not a big risk of repeating all these MLAs? And what about people's sentiments? Was there some sort of survey done to understand whether people are unhappy with certain MLAs?
Of course there was. How you think we'd go in blindfolded into an election? We did conduct a few surveys. We did look at different possibilities, different alternatives. But end of the day, I think our Chief Minister, he's a man who has been, very loyal, to his cadre, to his subordinates, all of us. So therefore, he chose basically to ensure that we go with majority of our sitting MLAs. In fact, we did the same in 2018 as well. In fact, we went with only 7 changes last time, and about 10 changes this time. So yes, we have been loyal. 90% of the candidates have been repeated. Whether or not it's a good thing or bad, I think time will tell.
Was there also a danger that if you did not repeat these MLAs, they would have gone to the Congress?
Which is fine. These things happen in politics.
But a perception is created then that everybody from the BRS is leaving to the Congress.
I'll tell you what. BRS as a party today has become a bit overloaded, which is again a fact, because in the last 9.5 years, we've had number of people join us, number of leaders join us. So we are a bit overloaded in that sense, because each constituency has multiple leaders who could have possibly become our MLA candidates. So that way, yes, some people are bound to leave, which is natural. I don't think it's anything unnatural. So therefore, I don't see it as being atypical. It's very, very typical during an election time. And I don't think people see it any other way also.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi says that you all approached him to join the NDA.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi suddenly remembered it 2 years post whatever that story is that he's kind of wanting to document. I don't give credence. I don't take his statements seriously. Neither do people, because he said a lot of things in the past as well. none of which came true. So,
But is it the other way around? Because remember, there was this whole spy cam that you guys had done on and said that BL Santosh had sent men to recruit TRS MLAs. But now the BJP has turned the story around, saying that you approached him to join, I mean, your father approached him to join the NDA.
What nonsense. See, the fact that these buggers were caught on camera trying to poach our MLAs, 4 of them, trying to lure them with money, is there for all to see. Take them to, why don't you actually interview those 3 buggers who came, brokering for BL Santosh, trying to poach on our MLAs and, kind of lure them. Talk to them, probably, do a lie detector test, you'll get an answer for yourself. The thing is, BJP across the country has been doing this, it's nothing new. They've poached on MLAs in Goa, they've poached on MLAs in Madhya Pradesh, they've done this, probably they tried to do this in Rajasthan unsuccessfully. They've tried it everywhere in the country. I mean, that's what they've been doing. In Maharashtra, they've been very successful. So, whatever they've tried here has failed. So, obviously, what does the Prime Minister do? Come here and come out with brilliant stories now. Because the poaching hasn't worked, so you have to, what do? Either you convince or you confuse people. That's what you do. And this Prime Minister's modus operandi is pretty simple. या तो जुमला या हमला. पहले जुमले से काम लेते हैं, वो अगर काम नहीं लेता, काम नहीं करता, तो हमला, attack.
But has it confused people because there is already a lot of dialogue?
No, I don't think anybody is confused in Telangana. One thing's for sure, all that the BJP could get in last election was out of 119, they could win 1 seat. This time I promise you that probably that 1 seat also they'll not win.
I saw an interesting interview in which you were asked whether you were responsible for throwing Bandi Sanjay out. My question is not that. Because of Bandi Sanjay going out, are you going to be affected?
No. Bandi Sanjay is a huge asset.
Exactly. That's
was a huge asset for us, not for their party.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, had he been there, it would have been more fun. Elections would be more fun.
Why? Do you think he would have polarized more therefore?
No, not polarized. He basically makes such nonsensical statements that it generally ends up offering a lot of entertainment once in a while. I mean, we need the entertainment respite once in a while, because, it can't be always fire and brimstone. Once in a while, you need comic relief. That's what he offers.
So, with him not at the helm of the BJP, it actually does not help you in the contest has become too...
See, the party has... it's never a contest between individuals, Dhanya. It's always institutions that fight. So, the BJP has lost the plot. I mean, first of all, they didn't have one. And then suddenly whatever little upsurge that seemed to happen, say, about a year ago, is all dissipated and gone. That's what I'm saying, because they don't really have any substantive base to stand on or, kind of build a narrative on, because they haven't done squat for the state or for the country for that matter. So therefore, whatever little they had going for them, they've dithered away, and now they pretty much are looking at a very, very dismal performance.
You asked the Election Commission not to allow this movie to get released, Razakars.
Yeah, because, these guys have, basically when they have nothing to talk about, all they do is polarize, all they do is try and instigate and provoke youngsters. See, politics will be there, elections will come and go. But, law and order is one subject that is very close to our heart. In the last 9.5 years, communal harmony, law and order is something that I take a lot of pride in as a minister of this government. Is something that we definitely have done very well. And we don't want to see that communal harmony being disturbed by any kind of idiotic moves by political parties.
And that's why the movie was a no-no.
Well, I've basically, made an open statement saying that this is a movie that definitely needs to be relooked at by the censor board and also by the Election Commission, because it is definitely a very, very motivated. The producer himself is a BJP candidate, and he's motivated to disturb the social harmony in the state.
But this is a very curious thing the BJP has done, right? Past few years, all languages, they're making movies because culture is one way to reach people.
When you have no subject, when you have no performance, nothing to gloat about, nothing to brag about, what do? You appeal to the primordial instincts of people. Go to town talking about Hindu, Muslim, halal, hijab and other nonsense like that. So, yeah. We have done well. We can talk about multiple things. Unfortunately, they haven't done anything. They've done diddly squat. So, yeah.
One other thing the BJP keeps talking about, including even Amit Shah, is their association with OIC and the AIMIM. My question to you is, you all are always friendly. That's something which you are very open about. Why is that you never have an alliance then?
We are friendly with everybody. Yeah? We see.
No, that's not the same with OIC.
Why?
You do have some electoral understanding.
See, Mr. OIC was friends with Congress in the past. When Congress government was here, he was supporting them. Basically, he's a very smart man. He is generally, he is generally in good terms with, earlier governments as well. When Telugu Desam was here, he was in good terms with them. When Congress was here, he was also in good terms with them. Even now, he's in good terms with us. So when somebody offers you support, even though we might not need them in terms of numbers, neither is he a partner of our alliance, nor did he join our government, but when he's extending support on a issue basis, and they're very critical also sometimes in the state assembly. So yeah, it's
But is that a tactic that they stay out of the alliance? Two things.
tactic?
One is that the BJP cannot criticize that you went with a party like the AIM because
What is wrong in going with a party
the
like
BJP keeps targeting the AIM, saying
Who
it's a
cares?
Razakar party, it's a
That's what
Muslim
I'm
party.
saying.
And second, AIM can criticize you.
BJP is a communal party. BJP is a party which looks at India in a very exclusive kind of way. We don't. We have a very inclusive approach to India. We believe India needs to look above and beyond, this absolute, nonsensical issues which do not really matter to the people end of the day, which BJP believes should take center stage. So therefore, we don't see eye to eye on many things. And so therefore, BJP's view or BJP's opinion of
No, but is it convenient politics to keep
Why?
them out of the alliance? You
No,
don't think
not
so?
really. What alliance? I mean, see, he or we neither of us need each other for election. So we fight. In fact, we fight 119 seats. He fights, I think he's fighting 10, 12 seats this time. So we fight.
There are only very few parties in India which are not part of either the NDA or the
13
INDI.
parties, not very few. It's 13 parties.
Why did the BRS choose to stay out?
Because both these national parties, so-called national parties, in fact, neither of them is national, if you ask me, because they are bigger sized regional parties. That's all they are, and we are a smaller sized regional party. Both of these national parties are instrumental and fundamentally responsible for the state of affairs in India today. 76, 75 years post-independence, India today languishes in large parts for lack of basics like water, roads, electricity. Who's responsible? These two national parties which have been given a chance at the helm of affairs. So why should we align with either of them?
But
so
if a situation comes where you have to align with either
India is
of
not
these-
bipolar, Dhanya. India is never bipolar. India, unfortunately, this whole worldview of Rahul Gandhi and Modi. The problem with Rahul Gandhi and Modi, Dhanya, is, see, they don't want a third person to emerge ever. So Rahul Gandhi goes to Kolkata. He calls Didi the BJP's B team. Then he flies to Delhi. He calls Arvind Kejriwal the BJP's B team. Then he, of course, flies to Hyderabad and calls KCRG the BJP B team. Because, for lack of Congress's internal abilities or innate strength, they have to, fall on this narrative and recourse that everybody else is a B team of BJP और हम एक ही हैं जो BJP से लड़ रहे हैं. मैं एक ही बात पूछता हूँ. B team जो लोग बोलते हैं, people, whatever this narrative that they've built, if not arresting my sister by the enforcement directorate is what, is the prima facie evidence that we are BJP's B team, then Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi also have not been arrested. They are also facing AD inquiry. So इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? BJP के B team है Congress. Simple question. What is the other thing that you can stick on me or my party कि हम लोग BJP के B team है? We fought 5 elections. This will be our 5th general election as a party. We've aligned with Congress in 2004. We had an alliance with TDP in 2009. And since 2014 and 18, we fought on our own. We never even aligned with BJP for a local body election in 23 years of our existence. So what is this nonsensical allegation that we are BJP's B team? Just because you don't like us or you want minority vote, you want to split the minority vote and you create this narrative कि हम BJP B team है. कैसे B team है हम?
But will this create a consolidation? For example, in Karnataka, we saw that Dalits, women and rural people consolidated for the Congress.
First of all,
So
Congress
this B
did
team,
not
B
win
team
Karnataka.
conversation-
Congress did not win Karnataka. BJP lost it. BJP lost the plot 3 years ago when the MUT started writing, when the contractor association started writing, when the private school management started writing and going to town saying that BJP government is a 30% commission government and they didn't do anything to correct that.
40.
Sorry, 10% किसी ने खा लिया बीच में. So I'm saying this nonsense that Congress is one resurgence and all that is purely absurd because in India, elections are 90% of the time about rejecting an incumbent government. People in Karnataka had decided almost 2 years ago, and somebody sitting in Hyderabad could see it. I don't know how you guys sitting in Bangalore can't see it.
Why?
2
We
years
saw it
ago.
very well. Yes, continue.
2 years ago, people in Karnataka had decided to throw out BJP government.
Okay,
So who could have been a better alternative between Congress and JDS? I think they went with Congress. That's about it. I don't see any other कांग्रेस ने कुछ उखाड़ लिया, मैं नहीं देखता है.
Hmm.
यहाँ if you look at Telangana, there is no such anger or resentment towards us.
Hmm.
So therefore, I believe strongly that we'll be voted back on the 3rd of December.
But what about the Congress's promises, which sort of brought
See,
them to power in Karnataka?
Congress is a party that has been tried, tested and dusted. They have been given 11 opportunities, 55 years in Telangana. So there's nothing new in Congress. See, Congress, I'll tell you what, funny thing is, they've come out with what is called as Udaipur Declaration, right? They said no family, no, not only one ticket per family. They have scrapped their own declaration, the party declaration. They can't practice it right here. And they have given 3 different families tickets in Telangana. So people who can't keep up their own promises in their own declarations, what guarantee will they give to the people of the Telangana state? My point is,
But
also,
that can be asked to you also. Yes.
Also,
Hmm.
yes, you can certainly ask.
Yes.
I'll certainly
Hmm.
answer. Who's signing these guarantee cards in Telangana? A PCC president who's lost his previous election in Kodangal is set to lose it again. He signs it. Who's guarantee tomorrow if he loses again? My point is, this is not. And Rahul Gandhi comes here and releases the report. What capacity is he releasing the report? Is he the president of the Congress party? Is he the chairman of the UPA? Is he the prime ministerial candidate of the UPA? What is he? He's an MP who comes here just because he's the son of Sonia Gandhi. He comes here, he says, मैं guarantee देता हूँ. आप कौन होते कौन हो यहाँ पे? कांग्रेस के कोई पदाधिकारी हो? कौन हो आप? My point is, neither is a PCC president nor Rahul Gandhi. उनका फ्यूचर ही एक अमेठी हार गया, दूसरा कोडंगल हार गया. उन दोनों का फ्यूचर ही गड़बड़ लग रहा है. वो क्या गारंटी है? उनका खुद का फ्यूचर गारंटीड नहीं है. किसी और का फ्यूचर क्या गारंटी
But
करेंगे?
there are guarantees that all parties may not keep. Like for example, your father at one point said there will be a Dalit chief minister, and he said, I was not able to do
Yes.
it. Yes.
2018, we went to, this was the promise of 2014.
Hmm.
And then in 2018, we went to elections saying KTR Garu will be our chief minister. 2023 as well, we're going with the same slogan. People have endorsed him, so why should anybody have a problem? And the other thing I'll also point out, parties have manifestos that they take to the polls, and they say that, we voters will do this. We have kept up 90% of our promises. Yes, 10% we may not have delivered. We've also done more than what we promised in our manifesto. We did not promise Mission Bhagirath in manifesto. We did not promise Mission Kakatiya in manifesto. We did not promise Raitu Bandhu
Dalit
in
Bandhu.
manifesto, Dalit Bandhu in manifesto. Tens of other things that we did not promise also we have delivered. So manifesto is one thing, but we've also delivered something which are real-time needs and which we thought was imperative. So we took a quick decision in the cabinet and we've delivered. So people look at it in total. They don't look at one manifesto and say, okay, isne itna kiya, itna nahi kiya. On the other hand, in contrast, Congress party in 2009, that was because that was the only other government that there was before us, had made only 2 promises, 9 hours of power supply and 6 kilo ration. Did not deliver on either of those. So 100% failure of manifesto versus 90% success. So all I need is 90% blessings and I'm hopeful of getting them.
I'll just quickly ask 2 or 3 questions about the Congress and finish. Revanth Reddy, the man who wants to be chief minister of the state, he said yesterday.
No, not one. In fact,
he also wants to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
There are 11 chief ministers. So Congress party in Telangana is like Pakistan cricket team.
But
There
one
is
can say
captain.
that's democracy.
I'm telling you, of course it is democratic, very democratic. Pakistan cricket team is equally democratic, where they have 1 captain and 10 ex-captains. So you can imagine what plight of the state would be if these guys are voted, where each of them is trying to pull the state in 10 different directions. In Telugu, there is a saying, I don't unfortunately have an equivalent in English that I can readily offer you, but the state will be torn to pieces because of the power greed. Let me also remind you, Congress has a history of, you said 6 guarantees, no? What the people are joking is that there will be 6 chief ministers guaranteed in 5 years. That's the only guarantee Congress can offer. Congress has a history of even inciting communal violence in this very state. And I'm not saying this. The chief minister, from 1989 to 94, they had changed 3 chief ministers. One of them, Mr. Dhanya Reddy, who was, of course, kicked out by the Congress High Command, had come out in the open and said, my own party man has instigated communal violence which resulted in 400 people dying in the old city of Hyderabad. This is Congress for you. So people have seen all of this. Multiple people wanting to be chief ministers, somebody who refused to shave his beard, somebody who said, I'm painting my house because I'm us din mein swearing kar raha hu, etc., etc. We've seen all this in the past. Nothing new.
So Revanth Reddy's main thing is that a family is benefiting from the rule.
That would be Gandhi family, no?
In Telangana.
Nice. How
and
nice. How convenient.
Yeah. I'm not even coming to the dynasty question, but just the fact that...
I'm coming to that question. After independence, if there's one family that has looted India, that has gotten most out of India, that is the Gandhi family. I mean, sorry, the Nehru family, right? I mean, from Jawaharlal Nehru to Indira Gandhi to Rajiv to Sonia to Rahul to Priyanka to Robert Vadra to whoever, this family coming to any part of India and talking about somebody else being a dynasty, that has to be the joke of the century, right? Or the millennium, actually. Point is, Congress talking about dynasty, Congress talking about corruption, has to be a huge, huge embarrassment for them, because even when they utter those words, in the back of their heads, I'm sure others, Bofors, Commonwealth, A to Z scams, spectrums, coal scams, everything must be playing in their head also. So for Congress to say such things is absolutely एक कहावत है, एक चूहा एक बिल्ली हजार चूहे खा के हज को निकली.
I
So
didn't
for-
understand the last
Oh,
part.
good. Well, basically, what it means is, a cat that is swallowed or eaten thousands of rats now started to set out on a pilgrimage. Basically, loosely translated, paraphrasing. So, point is, for Congress to talk about dynasty, family, or corruption is a huge embarrassment and is a huge joke, because people have seen them for 75 years, not seen them, but tolerated them for 75 years. I think Congress is that one white elephant in this country which we can actually do away with as soon as possible.
But how do you look at Revanth Reddy as an opponent? Yesterday, in one interview, he actually said that
we are going to
you
make
were
sure
working,
we are
that-
going to make sure
Mm.
he loses again in Kodangal. Last time we beat him there in Kodangal. This time we'll make sure he loses in Kodangal and Kamareddy. We'll make sure that he does not come back to legislature like we did last time.
So that is your challenge, Revanth
Not
Reddy.
challenge. I mean,
Mm.
I don't look at individuals. Like I said, the fight is never between individuals. It's always between institutions. Congress as a party is an embarrassment to this country. And I want to make sure that Congress does not get elected in my state, at least. That's where we have, our abilities and our challenge. So we'll make sure that Congress does not come back here. It's for the rest of India to throw out Congress wherever they want to in the next election.
I'll quickly move on to a few issues. One is the Kaleshwaram project. Of course, the Congress and the BJP are talking about the safety point, which they say because of the cracks in the barrages and the pillars, that there is a safety issue. But my question to you, other than of course the safety, is the project cost itself. There has been a lot of criticism that the project benefit ratio, cost ratio does not work out, that you created an SPV for the reason that the government will not have a load of this money that has been paid. So how do you look at the criticism on the cost?
Well, firstly, people need to understand the topography of Telangana before they can start making any kind of remarks or comments or start heaping criticism on us. Telangana's topography, if you look at it, the entire landscape is at an altitude which is higher than where the rivers actually flow from. So Krishna and Godavari, the two lifelines of Telangana, the two important rivers, flow at a much lower altitude than the entire lands which are arable and suitable for cultivation. So as a result, we have no choice, literally no choice, but to ensure that we lift water and then in a stage-wise manner ensure that all the chain tanks in the landscape, which is about 46,000 lakes and tanks in the hinterland, all of them are linked and made sure that you stabilize the existing high cut, provide new command area as well. That's the only way we can do it. Or the other option could be, using the gravity tunnels and basically going inside the Earth's crust and making sure that we actually use gravity instead of using pumping, which is of course humongously expensive. The other challenge is, just so you understand, today since you mentioned Kaleshwaram is a project where we've built barrages, which the one you mentioned, Medigadda, is at about 82 meters above sea level, and we use multiple stages of lifting to lift water all the way from 82 meters all the way up to 618 meters. Hyderabad, just so you have a fair reference, is at 535 meters above sea level. So we have to use multiple stages of lifting to bring water all the way here. Kaleshwaram is a multi-purpose project. It's the world's largest lift irrigation project. It's multi-purpose because it serves your irrigation needs, serves your drinking water needs. It also serves your industrial consumption needs. It proposes to irrigate 45 lakh acres of land. It also stabilizes a lot of existing high cut, and most importantly, like I said, drinking water and industrial consumption is also factored in.
But is the cost justified?
I'm telling you, I'm going to come to that. See, the original design of the project, original proposal of the project rather, It was named Pranahita Chevilla, the original project, back in 2004 and 5 when Congress government was here. They had called it Pranahita Chevilla, and the original plan was quite, if you ask me, quite incompetent and quite, incipient. The original plan was to lift water from a place called Tumidiheti, which is nearly 300 kilometers away from Hyderabad, and bring water all the way past Hyderabad to 300 kilometers. There was not a single reservoir. All the way it was pump houses and canals. There was not a single reservoir system. Now, conventional wisdom will tell you, Dhanya, that when you have water gushing into your home, when you get water like drinking water for 2 hours or 1.5 hours, depending on which part of India you live in, what would you do? Conventional wisdom will tell you that when you have water for 1.5 hours, a limited time, you'll fill up all the pots, all the vessels, etc., store it. In Godavari or in any other lifeline, when there is a flood, you would lift water, store it so that you basically waterproof, for a drought or for a bad time. Kaleshwaram, when Honorable Chief Minister started reviewing the project after we assumed office in 2014, he decided that we'll shift it from Tumidiheti to Medigata for one reason. First of all, Tumidiheti was a point of contention for Maharashtra because submergence was all in Maharashtra and they wouldn't allow it, and it would be an interstate dispute like Kerala and Karnataka and Kaveri on the river Kaveri. So we did not want that. We said, okay, we would want to complete because water was one of the biggest issues in the Telangana agitation. So we said we want to complete it. We don't want to get into interstate disputes. So we moved it downstream to a point where there is more water available, across different seasons. Medigada is a point of confluence of Godavari and Pranahita. From there we lift water. An earlier proposal was to lift 1 TMC of water every single day. 1 TMC is exactly what Hussain Sagar in Hyderabad is. What we had done was we had redesigned the entire project. Instead of 1 TMC, we decided that we'll lift 2 TMCs of water every day. So that in itself means doubling of pumping capacity, doubling of ability to lift water, so pumps, storages, etc. Zero storage was original design. We added 147 TMC of reservoir capacity, all of which are complete now, by the way. And more importantly, what we've also done is instead of using just canals, we also went for a mix of tunnels, 100 plus kilometers of tunnels and thousands of kilometers of canals. Project has been started and completed within a short span of 4 years.
But this design change,
I'll tell you. All necessary clearances have been obtained from Central Water Commission. See, a project of this magnitude which costs 80,000 crores, and I have to come to the cost. Original plan was 40,000 crore plan. But what all have been added? 147 TMCs of reservoir capacity, a doubling of pumping capacity, and of course the cost difference from 2004-5 to 2014-15, 10 years later, steel, cement, etc. As a result, the project cost has doubled from 40,000 crores to 80,000 crores. Now we have some very bright gentleman from the Congress party called Rahul Gandhi, who comes here, goes to town, goes to Medigada barrage where a couple of piers have allegedly sunk. He goes there, looks at an expansion joint, which typically is seen in any bridge or any barrage, looks at an expansion joint which is basically there for contraction and expansion during winter and summer. This man has no clue. That's why he's called Pappu of India. So he goes there and looks at the expansion joint and he calls it a crack. And then he clicks a picture and posts it on Twitter and says, "Dekho bhai, khatam ho gaya, barrage khatam." First thing is, the total project cost is 80,000 crore. And Rahul Gandhi says, 1 lakh crore ka gotala. Now, what do I call him? I don't know. The project is completed, Telangana's agriculture is expanded, and most importantly, one barrage where there was a problem. The total cost of that barrage is 1839 crores, 1839 crores. It is built by one of the most reputed agencies in the world, L&T. Now, L&T also has a defect liability period. They have already issued a statement saying, if there is an engineering problem, we are here to rectify it at our cost, zero cost to the exchequer, not a single paisa burden on the exchequer. So this whole hue and cry that there is corruption, there is this, the project has sunk, the project is destroyed.
The union government's report also saying that maybe there is a problem with the design.
Yeah, the problem is with the union government, not with the project, because the union government, unfortunately, is so obsessed with basically showing us in poor light. They'll use every agency. They call it NDSA report. I call it NDA report, because the gentleman and the team that came here They did not even actually go down and take a soil sample. They just went back in 2 days. They've splashed the report, and what's even more interesting, Dhanya, is the report was not sent to us first. It was sent to the media first. 2 days the report was published. Let me ask you this. What are the intentions of this team? They go to visit one barrage and then they actually go out and say nasty things about 3 other barrages which they've not even set foot in. So what does that tell you? It's politically motivated. It's basically doctored in BJP office in Delhi. And the other thing I'll also point out. Today, people who make a hue and cry about the barrage, there is basically a problem. Yes, of course. And by the way, this is not the first time this problems have been noticed in any irrigation project. There were similar problems in Prakasham barrage, in Congress government, in Dhavaleshwaram barrage, in Nagarjuna Sagar. I can show you a number of examples. Farakka in West Bengal. So the thing is, engineering problems that come up. See, when you've constructed a home, if you have constructed a home, post-occupation of the home, if you see a water leakage somewhere or some defect somewhere, you'd go about rectifying it, not destroy the entire house and rebuild it from the scratch. There is no other alternative to bringing water to the fields of Telangana other than lift irrigation, first point. So the cost, whatever is being, alleged or, viability that is being questioned is nonsense because there is no other alternative. Show me another alternative to bring water to Telangana's barren fields.
So the cost, according to the CAG audit report, is 14,000 crores per year has to be paid back for the loans.
Did you see the wealth that is being created by 45
The
lakh
CAG
acres
says that the wealth is not, in the sense that the Kaleshwaram project itself was supposed to create some wealth for the government.
Of course it
But
is.
those activities have not been started.
I'll tell you what, 68 lakh metric tons of paddy production happened in 2014. It has now increased to 3.5 crore metric tons of paddy production in 2022. And most importantly, we were 15th largest paddy producer in the country in 2014. Now we are number 1. How did this happen but for Kaleshwaram? Can somebody tell me that?
So you're saying you can bear the cost, even if it's...
Absolutely. In fact, I would go to the extent of saying Kaleshwaram project absolutely will become a self-sustaining project because of all the wealth that has been created for the state.
That is a huge statement.
It is a huge statement. Of course it is.
You're saying it will become a self-sustaining project.
Yes, it will, because of what rich dividend the state will reap, the farming community will reap, and the wealth it will create for the state. Yes.
Okay. So I'll quickly move on to the next topic, which is jobs.
Yeah.
The creation of jobs, you all have been saying that notifications have been given for almost 1,50,000.
No, let's understand jobs, the subject of jobs. Employment is a universal challenge for all governments. It's not for Telangana government alone. If you talk to Joe Biden, he'll tell you that employment rate is one of the most important things that he's conscious of. So is the case with Narendra Modi, I presume. And so is the case with all the governments across the world. Now, jobs, there are 2 kinds. There is the private sector, there is the public sector. Public sector jobs are limited, whether anybody understands it or not. That is, of course, the way it is. Because if you look at Government of India, total number of jobs in central government today is hardly 59 lakhs, which includes central government, central armed forces and railways included. It's only 59 lakhs. For 145 crore population, the total number of public sector jobs in central government is 59 lakhs. For a state like Telangana, where the population is about 4 crores, the total number of jobs in the government sector here could be anywhere between 10 to 12 lakhs, which is hardly, again, 2.5 to 3%. It cannot be more than that. And I can tell you, Dhanya, that in the government sector, we have recruited more jobs than any other government in the last 10 years in India. Not here.
Why are your unemployment rates still so high? Is it because private sector is not doing
No, because our number of educated people is also higher, because our number of graduates is higher, number of engineers is higher. In the last 10, 12 years in Telangana, if you please look at the statistics across the country, Telangana produces more number of doctors, more number of engineers than any other state, pro rata, per capita that is. So yes, it is higher, we understand it. But in the private sector, let me tell you, you come from Bangalore, Dhanya. Let me tell you, Hyderabad is the only city that has beaten Bangalore in Indian history, in India's technology history. Over the last 2 years, Hyderabad has created more tech jobs than Bangalore. Last year, according to NASSCOM, this is not my data, you can check with them. According to NASSCOM, out of the 450,000 new jobs created last year, 150,000 were created in Hyderabad, whereas 146,000 were created in Bangalore. This year, the story gets even better. 44% of the total tech jobs in India are coming from Telangana, that is Hyderabad. So, in the private sector, we are creating more employment than any other city or any other state in India. In the government sector, we have completed more recruitment than any other state in India. So for us to be accused that we haven't done enough, of course, there could be more. We could do more. We could definitely strive more. We will. But we have done better than anybody else, is what I'm saying. And also, most importantly, the parties that accuse, for example, Congress, like I said, they've recruited 1,000 jobs, government jobs, per year, prior to us. Now, we have done more, 16 times more than that. So for them to accuse us, I don't know what to call it.
Because you said tech jobs and you said there are more educated people. Another sector where you don't do that well is education itself.
No,
if you look at the literacy rates.
No, please, let me correct you there. Because, I've been asked this question, same question by another Bangalore journalist, probably who read the same report. So
no, it's the NFHS report. Which
I'll tell, that's what I'm saying, the same report. So the thing is, what the report also missed out is, in Telangana, we have 1,000 Gurukul schools, residential schools. Unfortunately, if you look at the budgetary allocations, those schools come under the welfare departments. They are not listed under the education department's expenditure. So it's a bit of a misrepresentation, because these schools actually have more than 7 lakh children. So the point is, if you look at the literacy levels or education budgets, etc., unfortunately, those are not being factored. They're being factored under the welfare department, which is kind of misleading. Otherwise, we have, in fact, the highest per capita spend for a student in primary and secondary education in the country. We spend 1,25,000 rupees per student in the Gurukul system, unlike any other state in India. And we are the only government in the country, probably, which is subject to correction, of course, which offers 20 lakh rupees as overseas scholarship for students who want to pursue higher education abroad. So these are some things which are unique to us. And yes, most certainly, I hope these anomalies in the report also would be corrected.
You're saying the report is not correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. So you are a strong proponent of regional parties. Would you say that?
I'm a strong proponent of parties which have their ear to the grassroots.
Which is primarily regional parties, you would say?
That's what I would like to believe. And there are no national parties in India. There are regional parties, there are smaller national parties, there are bigger national parties. For example, would you call BJP, which has insignificant presence or no government in about 6 southern states, a national party? I don't think so. They are primarily a North Indian party. That's what they are. A West Indian, North Indian party. They are not a national party which has presence across the entire country. In fact, they have no clue as to what the South of India wants, if you ask me. Because, the whole delimitation thing that is being talked about, where the South is set to lose its voice, is a matter of huge concern, and I don't see anybody from BJP even talking about it, because they are clueless when it comes to South of India. The one region in India which contributes most to the economy, 19% population, contributing to 36% of GDP, is undermined, overlooked, and will be underrepresented if what their stupid delimitation exercise goes through as is being proposed. Because one region which has actually made sure that population control was taken seriously is today being punished for effective population management. How is this fair? One UP and one Bihar will have more parliament members than the entire South of India. Is that fair? So I think the South of India needs to start looking at BJP and its conspiracies in the right light.
So 2024, do you believe that it should be a lot of regional parties who win the seat?
I would like to see a situation where Mr. Modi is thrown out for sure, because I think the kind of politics of hate that they have perpetrated and they have brought into India is something that the country will suffer because of. They keep saying Hindu khatre mein hai. Hindu khatre mein nahi hai, Hindustan khatre mein. Hindustan is in danger, India is in danger. Definitely he needs to be shown the door without a question. And I do believe that regional parties should have more of a say in Delhi. We cannot be treated like pushovers or subordinates. We don't subscribe to this arrogance of two national parties who believe that they are the bosses and we are their subordinates who have to kneel and prostrate before them. So yes, we want our voices to be heard, we want our states to benefit, and we want a coalition in Delhi which is secular, which represents the true ethic of India that I know, where I was raised, and not an exclusive India which belongs to a caste, creed, or sex, or religion.
My final question to you, if BRS comes to power.
When BRS comes to power.
Okay. to divide in two things, because you said you strongly believe in regional parties. One, why are you trying to expand as a national
Why not?
party?
Because two national parties have been a disaster for India.
But you look down upon national parties, which
That's
is what you have
exactly-
been saying. Then
No,
why
I'm
aspire?
saying there are no national parties in India. Please
But why
don't
do you
get me wrong.
aspire to be one?
That's what I'm saying. There are bigger parties and smaller parties. Right now, we are a party that's confined to one state. When we win Telangana on the 3rd of December, we want to make a strong foray into Maharashtra after we win here. We want to make sure, because Maharashtra, 48 seats, parliament seats, heavily disturbed, four parties which are in complete disarray. We would want to make our presence felt, and we have a huge border with them. They are seeing the benefits of good governance here. Let me also remind you, no chief minister in the south has scored a hat trick so far. KCR will become the first chief minister of South India to win 3 times on the trot. Neither Jayalalitha nor Nambudripad, Karunanidhi ji, MGR, none of them. NTR.
He went,
NTR.
but he didn't finish terms, but he did win thrice.
That's
yes.
what I'm saying. Thrice on the trot. So therefore, my point.
Puducherry actually has, I think,
No, I don't think so.
a chief minister who was elected
No,
thrice.
Puducherry is a
union
state / UT, so
Yes.
can't really look at them as it's a quasi-state.
Yes.
Right. So what I would believe is KCR Garu will have that distinction of becoming the first chief minister in the south to have scored a hat trick, which will have a ripple effect in Maharashtra, which will help us get some seats, hopefully win Telangana in parliament seats as well, and Maharashtra as well, go to Delhi with a significant chunk of MPs, and then hopefully have a strong say in a government in Delhi where we'll extract our pound of flesh for the benefit of the people of Telangana.
So when BRS comes to power, the last question is, would this government be a continuation of what we have seen, or would you behave a
It
little
will
bit
be a
differently?
refinement of what you saw in 10 years. It will definitely have some course corrections. It will definitely have its ear to the ground. It will definitely be you have to also remember, when we have an upgrade in our phones, there's always a next upgrade, isn't it? So what you saw was TRS 1.0, 2.0, there will be a 3.0. So it will be a much more refined, much more unique kind of a government next time around.
Thank you. So, long conversation with KTR, who says BRS 3.0 will be a refined version of what the government was. So, do keep watching the News Minute as we cover the Telangana elections for you.
News Laundry,
The News Minute.
News Laundry.
The News Minute,
News Laundry and the News Minute
are coming together.
साथ आ रहे हैं
5 states, 2 independent media organizations, and 1 team.
So log on to newslaundry.com,
Contribute to the News Minute and News Laundry Election Fund.
Joint Election Fund.
TNM, NL.
Joint Election Fund.
तो हमारा सहयोग करें
contribute now.
Because we are stronger together.
क्योंकि साथ साथ मिलकर ही हम सब मजबूत होंगे
क्योंकि सागे आपा मजबूत रेसा
Kalisi untene balanga untam.
We're stronger together.
And we're even stronger with you.